Interview artist Jérôme Alquié and working with Leiji Matsumoto, a new Harlock comic. French artist Jérôme Alquié grew up with anime being aired in France, and these days it's paying off. It's working with Leiji Matsumoto on the comic Space Pirate Captain Harlock from Blaze Publishing, which is currently being published. It is working on the Saint Seiya comic with Masami Kurumada. He spoke to Otaka Yobuse about his fandom, getting to know Matsumoto, and what he aims to produce with his take on Captain Harlock. You grew up with anime in the 80s. How did you first discover anime, and what about them interested you? I must have been about 3 years old when I started watching Japanese cartoons on TV. In France, they arrived in 1978 with the robot Goldorak, or robot Grenadier, which all the kids were fan. Other space opera cartoons follow, such as Ulysses 31, Edmund Hamilton's Captain Future, as well as Captain Harlock, which was called Captain Albator. They were very important to me because they were my heroes and playmates, and the ones that made me want to start drawing. Captain Harlock was highly successful in France. What attracted you to Space Pirate Captain Harlock in particular? I rediscovered Captain Harlock in the 90s when I was a little older. I enjoy the different layers of the show, which can be addressed to children. With the pirate elements, they are still very impressive, but also its other themes such as ecology, humanism, immortality, these kinds of things that you don't see the same way when you're 7 years old or 20 years old. I find Harlock particularly charismatic, romantic, embodied with a sense of self-sacrifice and honor, and a lot of poetry, which are present in all of the works of its author Leiji Matsumoto. His character, I fell in love with him in 1994, and it was never left me. What are some of your biggest personal artistic influences? Clearly the character designers of the animated series. In fact, I learned to draw with them, trying to understand what they were doing. So I think I should cite Shinjo Araki first, as well as Kazuo Komatsubara, of course, and add all the authors in the manga whose pages I devoured, such as Kurumada, Akira Toriyama, Tsukasa Hojo, Tetsuo Hara, and so many others. And certainly, the discovery of Kazuhiro Otomo's Akira and the Franco-Belgian side. It was Juan Jimenez with the casting of Meta Barons of Slayer with the Saga of Sunbury. For comics, I fortunately know a little less, but now that my comics are published in the US, I will be able to catch up a little. How do you and Leiji Matsumoto work together on the Harlock comic? It was a great collaboration. Everything I did passed into the hands of the master, whether from the scenario to the dialogue or for the storyboard to the final boards. We were able to evolve certain things to be perfectly in line with his original work while respecting the new points that I wanted to explore. He was very supportive, always full of kindness and encouragement. He is a great author who was creating so many things and who is very generous and open-minded. I love his work because it is in the continuity of his life, and I appreciate the man so much when I see how much he loves and talks about his work. I could have dreamed of a better collaboration, and our meeting was unforgettable. How well do you know Matsumoto now? Are there any stories about your experiences working with him that you can share with us? We exchanged a lot of messages regarding artistic choices. I saw him for the first time at the Japan Expo Festival in Paris in 2019, but as the TV cameras were also there to film the meeting, I had to redo my introduction to him 3 times, but I really only wanted to say hello to him. I thank him very much for allowing me to work on this project, that it was an incredible honor and all the other things I had planned to say to him. And he stopped me in the tracks, put his hands in his heart and said, "It was I am honored to see you continue to bring my character life." And for that I thank you. It's hard to express how moved I was. But the project ended, the whole Japanese team showed me how happy they were with the result, and the little said that it was over. It touched me a lot. How will your Harlock movie to be familiar and at the same time different from what Matsumoto has published? It's a quiet question that completely sums up and what I've been trying to produce. Something faithful and different at the same time. I believe that people who have discovered the anime or manga of Leiji Matsumoto will find all the ingredients. The characters, the dialogue, their adventures. Many fans have told me that they have found in these comics the hero of their childhood. It was clearly something that I strove for, so that the nostalgic dread works and that the fans feel a little youthful for a few moments. Fidelity to the original work was very important to me, and Sensei Matsumoto shared this point of view. And at the same time, I wanted to deal with different things, adding new characters that would change the dynamic, and especially allow enemies to become allies. Oops, I spoke too much there. I wanted to emphasize the relationship between Harlock and Mayu, his goddaughter, and I saw her with the eyes of the dad that I am today. I tried to talk about ecology with Earth's cooling, even if it is the opposite of reality. The highlights even more how the enemies, the Maisons, live in symbiosis with nature, that they are a kind of metaphor for nature's revenge on man who destroys the planet. All these things. And the difference also comes from the format, the drawing method, the coloring process. You said it all in a question. I tried to do something personal and new, but with as much respect as possible for the original work, and I sincerely believe that this balance has been achieved with Space Pirate Captain Harlock. What can you tell us about the Saint Seiya comic you are working on with Masami Kurumada? That's something else. I see that you are well informed. I am a fan of this series. It's definitely the anime I've seen the most times in my life. I watched every episode every day, every week from my 40th to my 80th birthday. I'm very proud and very happy to work in collaboration with Sensei Kurumada on this project. Unfortunately, I can't review much to you at the moment, except that I'm working on it. New characters, new enemies, new adventures, but always with the heroes we like on TV and then in manga. Seiya, Shiryu, Shun, Hyoga, and Iki will be back in next year. Are there any comic, manga, or anime series you are following presently or are a big fan of? I didn't know much about comics until a few years ago, and then by participating in festivals, I had the opportunity to share my passion for drawing with many authors and artists. I discovered Star Wars comics, of which I am a very loyal reader. I'm also a big fan of the Batman character. There is a lot of similarity to here Harlock with the cape and this dark side. On the manga side, I'm still a fan of my childhood cartoonists like Tsukasa Hojo today. And finally, on the anime side, obviously Attack on Titan that I share with my wife and children. Can you really please tell us about any of your other notable works where Western and US readers can find them? Alas for me, I am not know enough that my personal creations have crossed the Atlantic to arrive in your hands. I'm wrong if you have children between 8 and 15 years old, you may be familiar with the series. The Mythics, which is published in the US, I am lucky to have participated in several albums of this super series team. I really like working on several projects at the same time, even if Harlock and Saint Seiya take me a lot of time, and post-passion is nice to do other things. From time to time, I had a change to do exhibitions in French and Belgian galleries. Comics, illustrations from video games like Okinawa Rush and Battle Crush, collectible cards across the ages, novels, concept arts of collectible statues, and classes for children.